I'm a little confused. Everybody has mentioned in the media, and Mr. Vakil also has mentioned that commercial projects are not included. Whereas you mentioned that projects of every single kind, including land, including structure, no structure, colony, every single kind is included. So why wouldn't commercial be automatically not be included?
When he looked at those residential emphasis into the law. But that was, I believe, the draftman was obsessed by the residential part in the house. It's not agreeing with me. If you really go to see the bill, it covers everything. It covers even sale of land, it is covered. Now, how do you get, I sometimes ask myself a question about that approvals and sanctions which they talk about. If somebody is doing a plot development, and if it is in a non-agricultural area, then you require in local bodies some very limited kind of sanctions, but that is referred. But I believe that they wanted to accommodate everybody in the bus, and that's how they have put all these aspects and the different class of assets into it. No, agricultural. No, but agriculture, that particular holy cow has not entered this law. Even agricultural land will be covered, because you can, if you want to sell, and if somebody wants to buy, whether under the agricultural law you can sell it to non-agriculturist or not is a different story. But there is no such exception carved out in this bill. And you must understand there are states in this country which allows you to buy agricultural land even if you are a limited company without any specific permission. And as a result of which, this particular thought, which is in Gujarat and Maharashtra extremely dominant, that if you are not a agriculturist with flesh and blood, you can't buy except a real person and with permission under 63 as in Maharashtra, that you cannot buy the agricultural land. This taboo is not applicable in this law at all.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm referring to. I think this law was made for residential development, but as an afterthought. There are a few things which are added in the definition of apartment. You know, the way all of us understand apartment, I think none of us will really include an office space in the apartment, right? I mean, maybe a unit can be described as one which is for office or for residence. So, I think this bases the representations which have been made through FICCI, IMC and others, that why are you limiting yourself only to residential development? As an afterthought, in 2012, they've included the commercial development as a part of the definition. That's my feeling.
I'm Aditya Pratap and I'm also into law. You had raised the question that since real estate is a state subject, the central law may not be applicable because it comes upon a state domain. However, if we analyze the constitutional scheme, you will see that town planning and urban development, that comes within the domain of states and the urban local bodies. However, if we see, this act does not anyway specify building height, layout, etc. It is a consumer protection mechanism for the housing sector. So I believe this act does come within the constitutional scheme, and as long as the RERA does not tell the developer what his building height should be, what his layout should be, the project particulars, as long as it acts within the realm of consumer protection, I think to that extent the RERA of the center will supersede the Housing Bill of Maharashtra. Thank you.
It was very formidable analysis which you gave as a lawyer. But the central minister, while introducing this to the press, has also said that under the item 6 and 7 of the concurrent list that this law has been made, and which has got a provision about the transfer of property and the documentation aspect in the list 3 of Article 246 of the Constitution. So ultimately the question will arise, if you have got a local law, so concurrent list, so if the state list there is some conflict, then there will have to be harmonious construction, it will come about. And you are right that there are various aspects in this law which ultimately will be within the constitutional scheme of things.
So my name is Raj Shah. I would like to ask a question on behalf of Mumbai Realty Club. We are a group of brokers. You mentioned that realtors would need to register with the builders. So with the government. But this is going to be project basis. Now, what happens in an event that certain brokers are left out? Because what happens is, like you also mentioned, that there are new brokers springing up every day. So in that scenario, what happens? Just wanted a clarification on that.
Well, according to me, my reading of the bill, there is a reference to approval of a real estate agent by the government, right? But simultaneously, there is a mention that in the disclosure that a developer is supposed to make, he is supposed to say whether he has got a real estate agent appointed for the project or not. So the confusion is an overall approval by the government valid for all projects, or does it have to be project-wise? I'm confused on this. If Parimal Bhai can throw a light.
It's an interesting question and we must really come to the bottom of it. This law is for the first time an effort to make some reference to real estate agents. Otherwise, there is no law in which that the real estate agent comes into picture at all. And there is one old English judgment that nobody does work free of charge for nobody, and therefore if you introduce a person, you are entitled to remuneration. That is the basis on which that the law in this country has developed further. This law, the relevance of real estate agent reference is only for the purpose that while making application to RERA by the promoter, he has to file a declaration in which he has to say whether he has an agent. If he has an agent, he has to give his name. This is, please don't rejoice, it is with a view to trap the real estate agent also into the scheme of this law, when ultimately the purchaser or allottee may have some grievance about it. So he knows all the details of who was the owner, who was the developer, who was contractor, who was real estate agent. And he doesn't have to run around, because many times there is an experience that the real estate agent says कि वो तो खत्म हो गया, अभी मेरे को क्यों बुलाते हो, मैं तो था ही नहीं. So then his name is already there in that declaration, and which must be with his consent or otherwise. Seems to be the original purpose of how this law was probably drafted. Dan Brown has to come and say as to how this law was drafted. But this is how, over a period of 10 years, that it has evolved.
Okay. Parimal Bhai, I bought an apartment. There was a restrictions on transfer till possession. There was a 5% transfer fees. Are both these legal? And at the end of it, I got an apartment, I got a butler, I got a clubhouse with massage, everything. But now the society, instead of society, the builder has formed a condominium. And they have retained all the amenities and all the rest common areas, and they charge for everything.
Builder never promised you to provide massage all your life.
Condominium is not society.
No, condominium is considering, because today, and it's a thing which requires a serious thought on the part of our society. No new building, whether A class, B class, C class, or whatever further alphabetical number that you can give it, can cost you less than 15 rupees a square foot per month. This butler situation will go up to 40 rupees per month minimum. And that also, after you are staying for 6 to 9 months and managing the property on your own, you realize that in 40 also you are not able to manage. Because the builder does something different. He wants to give you peace and happiness. So he takes from you 2 years maintenance in advance. Up to 2 years you take as much massage as you like. But after 2 years you will be giving massage. Because it will not be possible. So this is the way it is. And on one answer, the transfer restrictions are not valid. But they are not valid in the sense it could be challenged, because there is no, it will be unconsignable contract if you go to the Competition Commission. But the problem is that the time when you enter into this transfer fee agreement, you have not received the possession. You have to go to the same builder and tell him that I want possession, and the buyer to whom you take the upside of the market and sell your premises, he says, why should I take this panga with the builder? I don't want to go at his doorstep and pay, which you are refusing to pay. You get me the possession, I'll pay you the money, and I'll walk out and I'll join your crusade against the builder. So these are the practical problems which create this situation where the builder is able to tell you, give me the money, otherwise I won't transfer. But if challenged, this is likely, unless you can justify that for the following costs that I will charge administrative costs, which will have to be reasonable. It can't be 5% of the money. But this is possible to be challenged in the eye of the law.
Also remember, the 40 rupees per square feet is not deductible in your tax return. So it will have to come from after tax money. Okay? So you'll have to earn double that amount, retain 40 rupees to pay the 40 rupees per square.
There is a provision for real estate agents to be declared for a project. Isn't there a provision for declaring who is the architect, prime structural engineer or professional? They are covered. They are covered. No, that's under usually for example, the DC rules provide that.
You can visit the website and you'll know the name of the contractor, the architect, the structural engineer, all of them.
Mandatory?
Including the real estate agent.
Sir, you mentioned real estate is a state subject. Then what is environment clearance and what is CRZ? Is it a state
These
subject?
are central subjects.
So where does that come in?
Correct. See, property or real estate, to my mind, correct me if I'm wrong, is a state subject. So the central government cannot legislate on something which falls into the state subject. But environmental will affect even the infrastructure projects. If you're building a bridge, environmental clearance is required. So I think environment is a central subject, and from the
Clearance for any project, don't you?
No, not for all the projects, provided the values exceed a certain amount.
All these provisions are applicable till the builder chooses not to offer the under construction to the purchasers.
No, the question is that when is this registration provisions are compulsory for which builder?
Till he completes in all respect.
No. The point is that this new law, if I could not make this clear at the end of the day, then I think I must stand corrected. Before you commence the development of project, receive any advance and offer to anybody, any plot, property, premises, you need to be registered with RERA.
No, the builder chooses not to offer to the prospective purchasers. He will not.
There is a certain provision under section 3 that before even commencement of development, whether it will apply or not, but largely, if you see it, if you want to offer it to public, if you want to receive advance, if you want to proceed and invite people to invest and enter into agreement or advertise, either of these things you do, and if you are more than 4,000 meter, then you should be first registered, you must have ID, you must have password, and you should be available on the net for people to look at you.
If the builder offers to the public and receives advances, it's okay. If the builder chooses not to offer anything, he develops himself and finishes completely, and then after finishing, if he offers it for the sale, still he is required to register.
In my mind, if a builder, why call him a builder? There is a philanthropist who is because he won't be builder, but we take it as some sort of a textbook case that he decides that I'm taking a land, I'm getting it developed, but he is not offering to anybody. He is not even dreaming of offering. He is not putting any advertisement. He is not giving those massage parlor advertisement. He is sitting quiet in his house and he is developing it. He engages an engineer and he wants to complete the building and thereafter he wants to offer. But the day he offers it, these provisions will again come the moment his advertisement he wants to give. Complete, incomplete, under construction are not the qualifications in that sense that there are debarring effect. Unless there is supposed to be an old building, yacht club is repaired and it is given back to the same people again, then this provision will not apply. If you are 1 year ago approved and having a sanction, this provision will not apply. If you are having a 4,000 meter or 3,000 meter land, it will not apply. But otherwise this will apply the moment you offer to anybody. It touches you automatically whether you like it or you don't like it.
Okay, I'm afraid that would be absolutely the last question. We cannot take any more of their time. Thank you very much, Mr. Parimal Shroff and Mr. Vakil. And thanks from Money Life Foundation and everybody else. Thanks very much.